Let's talk about Project 2, Angle Bisectors Part 3, which corresponds to Lesson 9 of Project 2. Okay, so you'll notice that the first question of today's piece of the project asks you to revisit that Tools of the Trade page. In fact, why don't we pull that up? So it asks you to revisit that Tools of the Trade page and review constructing an angle bisector. And so here it tells you how to do it with pencil and paper. If you didn't already, please be sure to watch my video yesterday where I got into a little bit of explanation about that image and how we can use it to establish that angle bisector is an angle bisector and so on. So you'll review that, but the meatier part of today's assignment for this project comes when they give you this picture and they ask you to write a paragraph proof that describes how you know that AH, this line segment, is an angle bisector of BAC. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and some information. I gave you a few hints in my video, and then the actual project directions itself gives some explanation. So you think about yesterday as a warm-up for being able to write this paragraph proof. Now, just to kind of refresh your memory, I'll get you started on this proof, and you'll take it from me. So remember yesterday, we were told to draw in the line segment EH and FH. So why was that important? Why was that meaningful? Well, because that allowed us to create those two triangles, if you remember. So by drawing in that line segment, you can see now that I've got a triangle here, right? And then I've created another triangle kind of flipped around over here. So you can see this triangle in yellow and this triangle in green. So what was the point of creating those triangles? What was the point of defining that line segment EH and HF? Well, we created a triangle AEH and a triangle AFH. And we can claim, and here's my kind of clue to get you started, I can claim that line segment AE is congruent. I can claim that line segment AE is congruent to line segment AF because E and F are the same distance from A. Now, how do I know that E and F are the same distance from A? Well, you'll notice that A is the center point of this circle, and again, we know that because of the tool we use to draw it, right? We know that A is the center point because of the tool we use to draw the circle, and again, that was established yesterday. Now notice that points E and F both lie on the circumference of the circle. So any point on a circumference of the circle is equidistant from the center point of the circle, and we know that just from the definition of a circle, okay? So again, my step to you is to tell you that line segments AE is congruent to line segment AF, and I know that based on the definition of a circle. So think about where you can take it from here. And I'll give you a couple hints as to what you're going to be using and what you maybe need to mention in this proof. So we established that line segment AE and line segment AF are congruent, right? Notice that E is also the midpoint of its own circle and F is the midpoint of its own circle. So think about what you could establish based off of, we're going to be using circle, I'm just going to draw circle E and circle F. So what information can I gather from those circles? You're going to be using the reflexive property of congruence. Remember, that says that any segment is congruent to itself, which may be important because remember, these two triangles do share this line segment AH in common. So think about why that might matter. You're going to also think about which postulate you might use to prove this. So note that we don't really know anything about the angles of these triangles, but so far I've already hinted at some stuff about the sides of these triangles and which postulate deals with proving congruence based on what you know about congruence of the sides of triangles, okay? Other things that might come into play, angle bisector, the definition of angle bisector. So think over what I said, maybe watch this again. Hopefully I've given you ample hint here to get you started. And again, really, most important thing is probably to think about how you're going to do this proof, what postulate you're going to use, and then think about how you can build your way to satisfy all the criteria for that postulate. Thanks, guys. I hope you found this helpful. See you next time.